And today we are live. No frills, no chills. We just out here live. I just wanted to get on here real fast and shoot the breeze with y'all and really give y'all my opinion on this new ruling from the NCAA allowing players to make money off their likeness. And if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that was my solution when we talked about paying the players and all of that. I said, yo, all it is really the players need to be able to make their own money in the free market based on their likeness. To me, that's how you do it. That's how you don't have to worry about paying Johnny Manziel the same amount of money that you're paying the little dude on the side of the bench. So what I'm going to do in this video here is we're going to talk a little bit about the NCAA ruling, some of the information that's came out about that, some things we don't know yet, but this is a good step in the right direction. And then one of the things that folks have been reaching out to me about and wanted to get my opinion on is whether or not this is the Lavar Ball effect. What is the effect of the JBA, the big baller brand, have on this situation? And so I have a couple of things that I really want to touch on with y'all, because while I do think that this is impactful for basketball when you think about the G League and some of those things, but I really feel like the greatest impact is on actually the college football players. So we're going to get into that conversation. But let's get this thing started. I had the mic way down there, you feel me? That ain't good for sound quality. Let me hit y'all with that. So let me just also, while y'all in here, make sure y'all like, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? If y'all ain't did this, all y'all, I'm gonna show some love to the folks who joined in live towards the end after I get this information out. So stay with your boy, stay tuned. All right. So now what I want to get y'all game on is this is something that I feel like has been a long time coming, right? The pressure has been on the NCAA's neck for a while to pay the players, compensate them in some ways. If you know your boy, I played ball back in the day. I played football though. And when I was in college, obviously we weren't making no money. As a football team, and there's so many players, we weren't even getting as much money when it comes to per diem and things as the basketball team was, right? So that's the blessing here, is if you play basketball, opportunities for money is greater because it's only like 12 of y'all, whereas the football team, you like 50 people, you know what I'm saying? So those things break down. Parties from, you know what I mean, just take this little gifts in the community, but you couldn't do that because that was illegal. Now those things, it's fair game, baby. You can make money off your name. You can make money off your likeness. You can make money off social media. You can sign an endorsement deal with different companies. Now there will probably be some restrictions, or there will be some restrictions on companies that don't necessarily fit in the ideals and values of the NCAA or these certain institutions. Like you could not go out and get a Pornhub endorsement. You probably couldn't go out and get one of these FanDuel betting websites endorsements and all of that stuff as well. But you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of opportunities. It'll be interesting to see how these sneaker companies, because that's where the majority of the money is going to come from, how they end up being able to maneuver and manipulate through this situation when some of these schools are signed with these sneaker companies. Because one of the stipulations is that these schools cannot help you get money on these endorsement deals. So because the school is signed with Nike, it doesn't mean that now you're going to get a check from Nike because of the relationship through the school. Right now, that's illegal. The school can't help you get in contact with boosters who own the dealership and set things up like that. No, you have to be able to do that on your own, which adds another layer to this thing where now you got to go get an agent, which is something that has also always been off the table when you talk about NCAA and you talk about amateurism. Now that's on the table. So while the opportunities are greater, obviously you're going to have more hands in the pot at this point. Obviously right now, what you're going to get from boosters, the boosters right now is going crazy. Folks in the state of Texas is like, yo, we finna get all the top recruits, because if you play ball and we want you in Texas, trust me, that oil money is coming in, and it's coming in hard. You feel me? So there's a lot of opportunity. A $500,000 salary to play in the G League for this season, but then also giving you an opportunity to have a scholarship to go back to college whenever you desire. 20 years later, that you have $125,000 set aside to go back to the college after you done played 20 years in the NBA. That's what they're offering these dudes. So you can't say, yo, you missing out on missed on that. The NBA is giving you an opportunity to get money and and also pursue your education whenever you want to. So so that's all positives. Now, I think that what you've seen is two of the top recruits. The guy just dropped out. I'm not dropped out, but as a guy turned down a scholarship from UCLA to go to the G League program. Number one player in the country decided not to go to college and is going into the G League program. We've seen last year RJ Hampton, who had no issues academically or no fringe things that would have probably prohibited him from playing in the NCAA, decide to go and play in Australia. We've seen LaMelo Ball decide to go and play in Australia. But one of the things that folks are not at all conversation is the XFL. The XFL also was creating a pipeline for football players to not have to go to the NCAA as well. So we seen the JBA, we seen the G League, and then we seen the XFL, we seen the AFL. So there's these repeated attempts to start tapping into the college football market, as well as these attempts to start pulling players from the NCAA. Now, so this is where when we start talking about the Lavar Ball effect, right? To me, you have to give some credit to Lavar Ball. This is something that probably would have happened over time, but what we've seen is the JBA, the Big Baller Brand, kind of put pressure on the NCAA's neck, not only the NCAA, but also the NBA, also the G League, because the G League has been around, and this is something that they should have innovated a while ago in order to start developing players, especially when you look overseas and we see these overseas leagues 10 years old. We don't have that infrastructure here in the United States. This should have happened a long time ago. So this was probably going to happen. But when you take the JBA, and obviously the first year, the top recruits who came to the JBA were guys like LaMelo Ball and Jello Ball. Some of the other 4-star, some troubles in the family, and then those guys ended up in the JBA. Those guys have also been able to go on and continue to play pro ball overseas, which is a proof of concept that you don't have to be the top 25 player in order to take an alternative route to extend your professional basketball career. It's a proof of concept, but people don't know. But the JBA had a lot of success as far as getting players to the next level. Guys who just want to play professional basketball. You don't want to do all that school stuff. You don't want to do all of that school stuff. You're just trying to get the check. You feel me? So that happened a lot of times with folks who played in the JBA. Now, what I will say is the next level to this thing is, so you have LaVar putting the foot on the neck. Then the domino fell where the G League is like, hold on a second, we got to do something. So you've seen that the season that the JBA started was also the first season of this G League program that they were doing. No top recruits played in it. We've seen Darius Baisley decide not to play in the G League, but to then sit out a year and get an internship with New Balance. That's how bad people wasn't messing with the G League. They weren't messing with NCAA, and they were still on the fence about traveling overseas. Now, last year was the thing where it's like, all right, folks is not coming to the G League, and they're not staying here now. They're trying to go overseas, and you've seen the pipeline heading overseas, which would have been something epic. To me, I feel like it's still an opportunity for folks to go do that. Well, I'll say it would have still been an opportunity for the NBL and these different international leagues to still pull some players if they just started marketing to guys who maybe not 5-star, maybe 4, 3, or 2-star guys who would then be in those leagues for a little bit longer time, who need that extra development. To me, if they take that route, there's still an opportunity to build those things out, because it is going to be a different animal, but the same beast to play in the G League right now. So those are all some things to consider. Now, with these pieces continuing to fall, I do feel like LaVar Ball is the catalyst for this moment, right? The LaVar Ball effect is real. It is the truth. It is happening. He has to get some credit, but I also think that this is one of those things that would have probably happened anyway, but there's a lot of credit that has to be given to LaVar Ball. Now, one of the conversations that I've seen happen on the internet is the ideal of, like, Yes, but the Big Baller brand didn't set out to do this. It wasn't from the onslaught. One of the first things that we heard from Lavar Ball when he got on the scene was not, hey, we're not going to college. We're not going to the NCAA. We're going to pivots. Like most major corporations or most great ideals, they start out going one way. Something happens and they say, wait a minute, the light is much brighter on this side. And this is what you've seen happen with the Big Baller brand at JBA. There's the pivotal moment in which Jello goes to UCLA, steals some sunglasses in China, has this whole international ordeal, which then the NCAA, and this is probably a pivotal mistake that if they could go back and change, they would do it to this day, is they told Jello Ball, you are going to be suspended indefinitely. Not only were you going to be locked up over there in China for an extra week or two, but when you come back here, you're not like, we control amateur basketball. We control development of basketball in the United States. You can't do nothing without us. Now, where I think LeVar does pull Jello, you see him pull Melo, Lithuania happens. And then they bring so much attention to that ball club in Lithuania, playing in the LKL, creating their own Big Baller brand challenge games. And then they say, you know what? Why are we giving all of this shine to them? Let's just start our own thing. That then the ideal, and this is the thing that we must understand, is that if the JBA, and I wish they would have happened, and I hate that I have to say if, but if the JBA had came back for season 2, the amount of higher caliber recruits that you would have seen touchdown in the JBA would have been ridiculous. And you can tell this because you look at the Big Baller brand All-American game. You look at some of the names that they were able to pull for that. And you look at the one, obviously, it got canceled, I'm going to say because of coronavirus, but they were even to pull bigger names for that. So what I'm saying to you is that if the JBA would have been able to go through the same trajectory, maybe also get some more money, be able to offer these players an opportunity to not only get paid to play basketball, but to make money off their own likeness, I believe that you would have seen a greater caliber of player, and you would have seen the JBA continue to rise and become what these other leagues cannot duplicate. One of the things that was so dope about the JBA that deserves some credit is the fact that there's other semi-pro smaller leagues out there than the G League that folks play in, and nobody's even heard of them and nobody watches. The JBA was able to create a fan base that is still alive and still rabid and thirsty for JBA basketball to this day that these other leagues have not been able to do. They all like to say Lavar Ball definitely. I don't believe that certain media outlets will really give him the flowers. So I say that you all should do it, man. And that's why I wanted to hop on here and make this video, because I wanted to make sure the flowers was given and the seeds was planted and folks out here really understood what was going on, because folks could have done the same thing that everybody has done up to this point when it comes to college basketball. When Jello makes that mistake, they could have just sat out. Could have waited a year. Melo could have went through high school. He didn't have to go play in 30 countries. He didn't have to go play in Australia. He didn't have to go to, could have just took the same route, but they created another lane. And that's one of the things that made me really start to appreciate and support the BBB many moons ago, is because I realized that what they were doing was not only affecting the three brothers, was not only affecting the bottom line of the family, but it was also affecting the whole entire culture. It was affecting the next generation of ballers who were coming up. All of these dudes right now who finna reap this, get this cash off the NCAA, is finna get it because of shit that happened with the Big Baller brand, the JBA, and all that stuff. And also, to my final point, and I probably should have brought this up earlier, but I'm gonna bring it up now. Truthfully, the folks who really finna get paid off of this is college football players. You can imagine now, in order to play in the NFL, you have to be in college for 2 seasons, right? So you either going to redshirt your first year, play your sophomore year, that you can go, or you play freshman, play sophomore, and then. But most guys ended up going to the NFL after their junior year. You take a dude like Johnny Manziel, who wins the Heisman in his freshman year. By the time he is allowed to go, bananas. I'm talking about rolling through college in a Rolls Royce Phantom. You feel me? That type of situation. The way that we're in right now, folks, regular folks make money off social media. When you look at the blue check that you damn near automatically get from being on one of these blue chip programs, the money that you could just be able to generate if you got some type of sense is going to be ridiculous. Yeah. So I'm just saying, man, just all y'all think about this now. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm going to give y'all some shout outs to the folks who stuck around, who was in the comment section. If you in there, throw some love. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to shout y'all out right now here at the end of the video. My boy DKM, man, I appreciate you coming through. You know what I'm saying? You the GOAT's GOAT. You feel me? Your favorite player's favorite player. ZV Beats, you know what I'm saying? Lavar Ball effect in the building. KC, you know, you've been around for a minute. Brandon, a lot of people don't know a bunch of players getting paid anyway, and that's a fact of Mundo. And we'll have started letting the players get that bag because they've been getting paid anyway. Opportunities was there when I was in college. You know, then I got some benefits underneath the table, just like a lot of other folks do. And like I said, I was a decent recruit. I went to JUCO. I was top like 100 JUCO players in the country, top 5 cornerback in the country. But you know what I'm saying? Still wasn't even all. You know how that is. Look it up. All right. Dakota, bro, was good, my guy. You know, in the podcast and dog. Yeah. So Golden Gate, what's up? Lavar is pure capitalist. He put the chest pressure on the market. It was there from the beginning, man. And like you said, here's the thing that, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this last analogy, because one of the dudes on Instagram hit me up and he's like, well, Lavar said, you know, he only did it because Jello, whoa. And this is what I'll say. Everybody gives Jordan credit for making Nike what it is today, right? But we can all say that Nike wouldn't be much without Phil Knight. So yes, these things could have happened without Lavar Ball, and Lavar Ball probably didn't set out to do this the same way Jordan didn't set out to join Nike, but he did, and he ended up changing the landscape of basketball, shoes, culture, and all of these things.